Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 8, entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. Text 22. Namah Pankajanaabhaya, Namah Pankajamaline, Namah Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajanghraye. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charana Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Queen Kunti continued to offer her prayers. My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. Purport. Here are some of the specific symbolic marks on the spiritual body of the personality of Godhead, which distinguish his body from the bodies of all others. They are all special features of the body of the Lord. The Lord may appear as one of us, but he is always distinct by his specific bodily features. Srimati Kunti claims herself unfit to see the Lord because of her being a woman. This is claimed because women, Shudras or the laborer class, and the Dvijabandhus or the wretched descendants of the higher three classes are unfit by intelligence to understand transcendental subject matter concerning the spiritual name, fame, attributes, forms, etc. of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Such persons, although they are unfit to enter into the spiritual affairs of the Lord, can see him as the Archa Vigraha who descends on the material world just to distribute favors to the fallen souls, including the above mentioned women, Shudras, and Dvijabandhus. Because such fallen souls cannot see anything beyond matter, the Lord condescends to enter into each and every one of the innumerable universes as the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, who grows a lotus stem from the lotus like depression in the center of his transcendental abdomen. And thus, Brahma, the first living being in the universe, is born. Therefore, the Lord is known as the Pankajanabhi. The Pankajanabhi Lord accepts the Archa Vigraha or his transcendental form in different elements, namely a form within the mind, a form made of wood, a form made of earth, a form made of metal, a form made of jewel, a form made of paint, a form drawn on sand, etc. All such forms of the Lord are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, and there should be a soothing atmosphere in the temple of worship to attract the burning attention of the non devotees always engaged in material wranglings. The meditators worship a form within the mind. Therefore, the Lord is merciful even to the women, Shudras, and Dvijabandhus, provided they agree to visit the temple of worship in different forms made for them. Such temple visitors are not idolaters, as alleged by some men with a poor fund of knowledge. All the great acharyas established such temples of worship in all places just to favor the less intelligent, and one should not pose himself as transcending the stage of temple worship while one is actually in the category of the Shudras and the women or less. One should begin to see the Lord from his lotus feet, gradually rising to the thighs, waist, chest, and face. One should not try to look at the face of the Lord without being accustomed to seeing the lotus feet of the Lord. Srimati Kunti, because of her being the aunt of the Lord, did not begin to see the Lord from the lotus feet because the Lord might feel ashamed, and thus Kunti Devi, just to save a painful situation for the Lord, began to see the Lord just above his lotus feet, that is, from the waist of the Lord, gradually rising to the face, and then down to the lotus feet. In the round, everything there is in order. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So we are meditating on the different prayers offered by Queen Kunti to Lord Krishna in this part of the Bhagavatam. So here, Kunti Devi is offering a very beautiful prayer, and this very prayer is repeated again in the Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, where Bhumi Devi offers this prayer to Lord Krishna after Lord Krishna killed the demon Narakasura or Bhaumasura. Namah Pankaja Nabhaya, Namah Pankaja Maline, Namah Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. So the word Namaha appears in every line of this verse, and Namaha signifies offering of respectful obeisances with great humility, considering oneself to be unqualified. That is the import of the word Namaha. And Pankaja, this word Pankaja means lotus. Even this word appears in all the four lines of this prayer. So Pankaja means lotus. Why? Because Panka means dirt and Ja means that which takes birth. That which takes birth in dirt. We all know that lotus takes birth. Lotus flowers grow in dirt, in marshy areas, in water, and therefore lotus is called Pankaja. Pankaja, the word Pankaja has got many other synonyms in Sanskrit language. Ambuja also means lotus. Padma also means lotus. Kamala also means lotus. And very often we see in the Bhagavatam and in other Vedic scriptures, we see that the different parts of the transcendental body of Krishna are often compared with lotus. And Srila Prabhupada says the reason for this is in this material world, two things are very, very pleasing to look at. They're very, very beautiful. One is the moon, the full moon, and the other one is the lotus. These two are very pleasing to look at, very beautiful. And that is why, just to give us an idea of the transcendental beauty of the Lord, how by seeing the form of the Lord, a devotee can become pacified, he can actually become very pleased. That is why the form of the Lord and the different parts of the Lord's body are often compared to lotus. So here, Pankaja. So let us see one by one what is Kunti Maharani uh, praying to the Lord here. Namah Pankaja Nabhaya. Pankaja Nabhaya in the synonyms Prabhupada writes unto the Lord who has a specific depression resembling a lotus flower in the center of his abdomen. So, Pankajanabha, Padmanabha, Kamalanabha, these are all very common names with which we address Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Why? Because the Lord has got a specific depression resembling a lotus flower in his abdomen. So, from the belly button of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, a lotus flower springs up, and there, in that lotus, the first created being, Lord Brahma, is born. And we all know this form of the Lord is Padmanabha. This is the form which is worshipped in the famous temple in Kerala at Tiruvananthapuram, Ananta Padmanabha Swami. So he is reclining on the Ananta Shesha, and from his abdomen, a lotus flower comes out in which Brahma is born. So he is called as Ananta Padmanabha. So here, Pankajanabha also means the same. The Lord has a depression in his abdomen which resembles a lotus flower. And then the second line says, Namaha Pankaja Maline. Mala means, we know, a garland. Mali means one who is decorated with a garland. So Pankaja Mali means one who is always decorated with a garland of lotus flowers. So the Lord likes when his devotees make garlands with fragrant flowers and offer to him in devotion. In the scriptures, there is a description of how uh, the gopis of Vrindavan, especially Srimati Radharani, would actually take pleasure in preparing garlands for Lord Krishna. She would first of all pick choicest flowers in Vrindavan forests, and then she would sit down and make a garland for the Lord with those fragrant flowers. And then she would actually decorate the Lord with those garlands that she would make. So, making of garlands to the Lord is an act of devotional service. We see even in the song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Mama Mana Mandire, there Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Bhakti Preeti Mala Chandan. I'm going to offer to you, O Lord, O son of Nanda Maharaj, please come and reside in my heart. And I'm going to offer to you with love and devotion sandal paste and special flower garlands. Please come and accept these offerings. So, the beauty of the Lord is that even though it is the Lord who is the source of everything that exists, the fragrant flowers also come from the Lord only. But when his devotees make a garland out of these beautiful flowers that he has created, the Lord very happily accepts these offerings of devotion. So that is the speciality. So, connected with this offering of flower garlands, there is a beautiful story connected with one of the 12 alvars in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, the only female alvar, that is Andal. So, Andal, from her very young age, she would actually hear from her father, Vishnu Chittar, who is also a great alvar. Alvar means one who has deep devotion for Lord Vishnu. So these alvars and used to actually sing the praises of the Supreme Lord. And whichever temple they visited and offered these praises of love, those temples became famous as Divya Desham temples. So Andal was found by Vishnu Chittar in a Tulasi uh, garden, and this devotee brought the girl to home and the baby girl and started raising her as his own uh, daughter with great love and affection. And from a very young age, Vishnu Chittar would actually narrate the pastimes of the Lord. specifically the pastimes of Lord Krishna described in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. And this made a great impact on the young devotee. And she was fascinated with the various pastimes of Lord Krishna, specifically in Vrindavan. And she was also fascinated with how the gopis of Vrindavan, they were so exalted because they gave their everything, their life, their soul to the service of Krishna. And she also heard that how during the month of Margashirsha, the gopis performed a vrata called Katyayani Vrata, where they would worship goddess Durga every day. Early in the morning, they would get up in the winter season. It was peak winter, and they would all get up, go to the Yamuna, take a holy bath, and then they would worship Katyayani Devi. And their sole desire for behind worshipping Katyayani Devi was not some material desires, but they wanted Krishna as their husband. So Andar also started following in the footsteps of the gopis. Every day in the Margashirsha month, she would get up, take a bath, and she would worship the Lord. And one of the very special sevas that she would do every day was that she would make beautiful, fragrant flower garlands to the Lord and offer. So every day she would make garlands, and Vishnu Chittar, her father, she he would go and offer the garlands to the deity in the temple. And this was going on for many days. One day, the devotee, the father, found a hair in the garland, and he was so sad and upset to see. So, hair contaminates any offering that is to be offered to the deity. So, he rejected that garland and he came back home, and he was surprised. He wanted to know how could a hair be present in the unoffered garland. So, and one day, the next day, Vishnu Chittar saw that this Andal, what she would do, she was a grown-up girl by that time. She would actually, after making the garland, she would herself put the garland on and stand in front of the mirror just to see how this garland would look on the Lord. And she was doing this out of innocence. She wanted to make sure that the flower combinations in the garland is very nice so that when it adorns the deity, it will look very good. That was her intention. But this was actually considered to be a aparadha. It's a seva aparadha. And Vishnu Chittar became very angry, and she came, Andar, how can you do this? This garland is not yet offered to the Lord. And after you wear it, I am going and offering it to the deity every day. And this is a big aparadha, it's an offense. One should never do this. He started heavily chastising the girl, and she also became very, uh, she started crying, and you know, there was a there was a silence in their house, and father also was feeling so sad. Every day I have been adorning the Lord with that garland, which this girl is first wearing, and today I saw the hair, and that's how I got to know. So this is a very big offense. So he went to the deity of the Lord. He went to the temple in front of the deity. He started begging forgiveness. And then he prepared a fresh garland. And then he went to the deity. And he tried his best to offer the deity that garland. But the deity would not accept that garland. The Lord came in the dream of Vishnu Chittar and said, I am very unhappy that you have chastised my dear devotee, Andal. I like those garlands which Andal prepares and which she was wearing herself. I want to offer, I want to accept that garland. And the Lord also mentioned that this Andal is my great devotee. She has followed in the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan, and she has desired me to be her husband, and I want to fulfill this desire of hers. So very soon I shall come and accept your daughter as my wedded wife. So this whole thing was a wonder for Vishnu Chitta, and so this pastime from the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, we hear this pastime. And when we go to Sri Rangam and other temples connected with the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, we have darshan of uh, this Andar, also known as Godadevi. And behind her there will be many mirrors, and she will be nicely decorated with fresh, fragrant flower garlands. So now two lessons for us to learn from this pastime. Number one, because Andal is not an ordinary person, she is a great devotee, a pure devotee, and therefore the Lord did not consider it to be an offense that she was actually offering the garlands which she was herself adorning. So the understanding is she was doing it out of innocence as a young girl, and Krishna did not consider it to be an offense. Now, should we also do it like that? Should we also do first we wear the garland and check in front of the mirror, is it good or not? Will it look nice on the Lord or not? No, we should never do that because we are not at all qualified to serve the Lord. The Lord, out of His mercy, He has allowed us to offer fruits, flowers, and He will accept it when it is offered in a proper, regulated manner according to the instructions of the spiritual master and the scriptures. So that is one thing. Second thing that we understand from this Leela is that even if a child, even if a young girl who does not apparently have scriptural knowledge, but has innocent, with her innocence, hmm, uh, she gets attracted to the Lord and she prepares garlands and offers to the Lord accepts. Srila Prabhupada says, even a child can become a devotee. Even a child, we see many examples of that in the Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj was a 5-year old boy, and his devotional service was accepted by the Lord, so much so that the Lord personally appeared from the pillar to give him his protection. Dhruva Maharaj also performed tapasya in the forest, offered tulsi leaves to the Lord, and worshipped according to the direction of Narad Muni, and he was able to see the Lord within 6 months. So, the lesson we learn from this pastime is with love and devotion, even if a child offers a flower, the Lord will accept. This is the greatness of the Lord. This is the great mercy of the Lord, right? So here, Namah Pankaja Maline, Mala, the garland. The Lord is always decorated with lotus garlands offered by his devotees, and the Lord accepts it. Actually, we cannot offer anything to the Lord because we cannot say nothing belongs to us. Actually, everything belongs to the Lord, isn't it? But still, the same thing that the Lord has given us, with love and devotion, you give it back to the Lord will accept it. Srila Prabhupada gives an example. The father brings a lot of chocolates every day to her to his children at home, and he's very happy when the children eat the chocolates that he brings. But if the child uh, goes back to the father and offers one chocolate to the father becomes very very happy, even though the chocolates were brought by the child by the father only. The father only purchased those chocolates by his hard-earned money. He brought. But when the child is offering back a chocolate with love to the father becomes extremely pleased. So Prabhupada says it is in a similar spirit that we offer flowers, fruits, and tulasi leaves and water, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, or any other bhoga item, cooked delicacies that we prepare at home. The ingredients are all given by the Lord only, and the intelligence for the cook is also given by the Lord only. The fire which is required for cooking is also given by the Lord only. So everything is given by the Lord. So we are just preparing and offering it back to the Lord, and the Lord relishes this love and devotion with which we offer it to Him. So therefore, Namav Pankaja Maline, the Lord accepts the garlands offered with love and devotion. In fact, in South India, uh, whether it is any community marriage in South India, uh, in the Nadaswaram, there is something called Nadaswaram. Uh, instrumental music, traditional instrumental music that is sounded during, especially during marriages. And of course, even in temples on special occasions, you must have seen or heard Nadaswaram performance in our temple also during the early morning festival of Vaikuntha Ekadashi and many other similar festivals we have. So, in the marriage ceremony in South India, one of the tunes that is played in the Nadaswaram is the song glorifying Andal. Malai Satrinal, Godai, Malai Matrinal. There is a song in Tamil language. Godai means this Andal. So, how our ancestors have very intelligently made these pastimes of the Lord and His pure devotees an integral part of our special culture, our special occasions. It has become part of our culture. So even though today this Nadaswaram of this song, the tune of this song is sung, especially when the bride and the bridegroom exchange garlands. Now they think it is just they don't know the real meaning, the pastime behind this. It is Goda Devi who made garlands, and the Lord accepted it. And to remember that pastime, this song was composed, and this tune is there as part of South Indian wedding tune, Nadaswaram. So when spiritual lessons become part of the culture of a society, uh, people will never forget the actual. People will never forget these stories and these pastimes. That is the intention why the ancestors introduced such things as part of special occasions and all of that. So I just remembered that. So Pankaja Maline, the Lord takes pleasure in being garlanded with lotus flowers, especially when they are made by the devotees of the Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam third canto, 15th chapter also, we find a description of the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. There it is also described that there are many varieties of transcendently fragrant flowers available in Vaikuntha, and the devotees there make garlands for the Lord, and the Lord accepts. And the Lord especially accepts the garlands of tulasi leaves. This is described in the Bhagavatam. And there is also a description that the flowers with which the devotees make garlands for the Lord in the spiritual world are so fragrant that those garlands are constantly buzzed around by bumblebees and honeybees. The honeybees and bumblebees, they're constantly there on the garland. Even when the garland is offered to the Lord, these bumblebees are so mad after the sweet honey present in those fragrant flowers. That means we can just imagine how fresh and how aromatic, how fragrant are the flowers in the spiritual world with which the devotees make garlands and offer to the Lord. Sometimes, even in our temple altar, when we see devotees prepare nice garland and offer to the Lord, many a times we have seen that even in the altar, even when there is an AC in the altar, there are many honeybees buzzing around those garlands, which are offered to the deities, to Radha Krishna Chandra and other deities. So fresh garlands have to be offered. Another thing that Srila Prabhupada said was Seasonal fruits and flowers have to be offered to the Lord. In a given particular season, what is that which is uh, which is special, which grows in that season, flowers and fruits. Those fresh fruits and flowers have to be brought and offered to the Lord. Especially during the mango season, we see devotees prepare varieties of delicacies out of mango and offer to the Lord. So the idea is the Lord should be offered the best and the most fresh flowers to the Lord. In our temple during Brahmotsava, you can see this. Every day the deities are decorated with fresh flowers, fragrant flowers, especially jasmine flowers, which are very specially available during the summer season when our Brahmotsava happens during the month of April. So jasmine flowers are very special and they are very fragrant. And those jasmine garlands and jasmine flowers are offered to the Lord as part of the Brahmotsava Alankara. So, what Srila Prabhupada has given us, the process of Archa Vigraha, worship, Archana of the deities, it is so very special. It's not an ordinary activity. In fact, worshipping the deity, the Archana process is same as worshipping the Lord in the Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. There is no difference. So, chanting of the holy names, this process is also directly imported from the spiritual world, as we get to know from one of the Vaishnava bhajans. Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. Chanting of the holy names is an eternal activity in the spiritual world. Devotees engage in glorifying the Lord, singing the holy names of the Lord. And that very process, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly imported from the spiritual world and brought it to us here in the material world. And then the process of Archana, worship of the deity, this is also an eternal activity going on in the spiritual world. So we are so blessed that we are getting to practice in the material world the activities, the eternal activities of the liberated souls, their service to the Lord in the spiritual world that they do. We are getting to practice here in the material world by the guidance, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So, Pankaja Nabha and Pankaja Maline. And then another name of Krishna is Vanamali. Vanamali means one who takes pleasure in adorning himself with fragrant flowers in the Vrindavan forest that grow in the Vrindavan forest. Therefore, he's called Vanamali, right? So that and a special garland that is offered to the Lord is called Vaijayanti Mala. Vaijayanti Mala is a special garland which reaches up to the knees of the Lord. It's a long garland. You can see that every day in our temple. Uh, Krishna Chandra is adorned with a Vaijayanti Mala, the mala which reaches up to his knee, that is Vaijayanti Mala. And in Tirumala, even in our temple for Srinivasa Govinda, we put something called Tomala. Tomala is that which is coming all the way from the top, from the crown of the Lord on both the sides, uh, and reaching up to the lotus feet of the Lord. That's called Tomala. So Tomala Seva is a very special seva which is performed every day to Lord Venkateshwara Balaji in the Tirumala temple. And even here in our temple to Srinivasa Govinda, we offer this Tomala. So these are some special things connected with the flower garlands offered to the Lord. And then the third line is Namah Pankaja Netraya. The Lord, his glance is as cooling as a lotus flower. Pankaja Netra. His eyes are very cooling. His glance are is as cooling as a lotus flower. And connected with this, the Garuda Purana mentions a special name of Lord Krishna, Pundarikaksha. The Lord is called Pundarikaksha. Aksha means eyes. His eyes are as beautiful as a lotus petal. Pundarika. Pundarika is another name of lotus. So his eyes are as broad as a lotus petal. That is the meaning. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Kapila Muni, Kapila Deva is describing about the process of meditation a yogi must do to Mother Devahuti, That time, Lord Kapila is also describing that one by one should meditate on the different parts of the transcendental body of the Supreme Lord. And uh, he begins with the lotus feet of the Lord. So one should meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. And these lotus feet are compared to the boat by taking shelter of which a devotee can easily cross over the ocean of material existence. And then one should go above to the calves of the Lord. One should meditate on the calves of the Lord, and then the knees of the Lord, and then the thighs of the Lord. So we should not think that all these bodily parts of the Lord are like our bodily parts. They are not material at all. They're all spiritual, and a devotee is recommended to advance in his meditation, starting with the lotus feet of the Lord, meditating on every part of the of the body of the Lord. And then one should meditate on the abdomen, where there is a depression of lotus. And then one should meditate on the chest of the Lord, which is the residence of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi. And then one should meditate on the arms of the Lord, which are very strong, which are capable of giving protection to the surrendered souls. And then one should meditate on the face, and especially the smile of the Lord. The Lord has a very special, charming smile. And Lord Kapila says, by meditate, the smile of the Lord is so special that just by meditating on the smile of the Lord, the innumerable ocean of distress in which in the material world, all of us are actually tormenting, are all suffering, that innumerable ocean of distress can get evaporated just by meditating on the sweet smile of the Lord. Hasitam Maduram. Madhuram means smile, sweet. Hasitam means the smile. The smile of the Lord is capable of evaporating a huge ocean of distress for his devotees. So, this is a speciality of meditating on the smile of the Lord. And then the eyes of the Lord. So, the eyes are compared to lotus petals, right? Here it is said, Pankaja Netra. Netra means eyes. And then the last line says, Namaste Pankajanghaye. Angri means lotus feet. Pankajangri, the soles of whose lotus feet are engraved with lotus flowers. Actually, in the third canto of Bhagavatam, there is a detailed description about the different signs present on the soles of the lotus feet of the Lord. And one of them is lotus itself. On the lotus feet of Krishna, on both the lotus feet, there are different special spiritual symbols that are present. And a devotee is supposed to meditate. Meditating on the lotus feet also means meditating on the different uh, special symbols present on the soles of the lotus feet of the Lord. So, lotus is also one of the many items or symbols present on the soles of the Lord's lotus feet. So that is why the Lord's lotus feet are called lotus feet, because lotus is also present, is engraved on the soles of the Lord's lotus feet. It is described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam when Akrura went to Vrindavan on the order of Kamsa to bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. As soon as he entered the precincts of Vrindavan, the boundary of Vrindavan, he could see that uh, there were these impressions of the lotus feet of Krishna, and these impressions had various uh, symbols that are present on the lotus feet of Krishna. And one of them is this lotus. Then there is a goad, G-O-A-D, goad. Goad is an instrument used uh, by the elephant trainer to control an elephant's movements. Such a big, huge animal can be controlled by a small, sharp instrument called goad. Ankusha, it is called in Sanskrit. Ankush. Ankush means to bring somebody under control. That is Ankush. So that goad is called Ankush. So goad is also one of the symbols that are engraved on the soles of the lotus feet of Krishna. And what does this goad signify? When a devotee surrenders to the lotus feet of Krishna, it, it by the mercy of the Lord's blessings, a devotee can easily bring his elephant like mind, which is very, very turbulent, which is chanchala, which is very strong and obstinate, that mind can be brought under control simply by meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. So the lotus feet of the Lord has got this goad by meditating on which a devotee can easily bring his elephant like mind under control. Then there is a barley corn is present. That is one of the symbols present on the lotus feet of the Lord, the soles of the Lord's lotus feet. What does that signify? Anybody who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, for him the Lord assures all prosperity, materially and spiritually. A barley corn represents prosperity. So anybody who takes shelter, Krishna himself assures this, isn't it? Yoga kshemam vaham yaham. Anybody who serves me, who always meditates upon me, renders service to me, I ensure that whatever is lacking, I supply to that person, to my devotee. And whatever he already has, I protect it, I preserve it. So the barley corn represents that uh, uh, prosperity. Like this, there are many, many items present on the soles of the lotus feet of the Lord. And a devotee should thus take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport, as per uh, what Lord Kapila mentions in the third canto of Bhagavatam, when we are having darshan of the Lord, it is not simply a physical process of seeing the deity, it is actually a meditation on the different parts of the transcendental body of the Lord. And this meditation should begin with the lotus feet of the Lord, right? And then one must progress towards the gradually towards the smile, the lotus face of the Lord. So that is the process of having darshan. But here, Kunti Devi, she begins with Namah Pankaja Nabhaya. She begins with the abdomen of the Lord, then the mala, which is on the chest of the Lord, then the netra, which is on the eyes of the which is the eyes of the Lord, and then she tells at the end, she tells the lotus feet of the Lord. Actually, the real order should have been first Pankajangri, the lotus feet, then Pankajanabha, the abdomen, then the mala, which is adorning the lotus chest of the Lord, and then the Pankaja Netra, the eyes of the Lord. But here, since Kunti Devi, she is playing the role of an aunt for the Lord. So, directly, if she looks at the feet of the Lord first, the Lord might become embarrassed, he might become ashamed. Therefore, to save the Lord from such a painful situation, Kunti Devi is beginning with Pankajanabha, the abdomen of the Lord. See how sensitivity is one of the most important qualities of a devotee. A devotee should be very, very sensitive while dealing with the Lord, while dealing with the devotees, while dealing with the paraphernalia connected with the Lord. This is very, very important. A slight insensitiveness can create embarrassment, can create offenses. Therefore, a devotee should be very mindful whenever he is dealing with the Lord, the deity, the spiritual master, and the other devotees, and also the paraphernalia, like Tulsi Maharani, or the books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. These are all not different from Krishna. We should be very, very sensitive while dealing with while we are dealing with these personalities, these entities. So, for example, as soon as we enter the temple hall, Uh, Even though you enter 100 times on a particular day, each time you're supposed to bow down, you're supposed to offer obeisances. Why? Because the temple of the Lord, first of all, the Supreme Lord Himself is present in His Archa Vigraha form, number one. Number two, the spiritual master, who is the pure representative of the Lord, spiritual master is present. And then the devotees are present who are engaged in Sankirtana. They are glorifying the Lord by singing the glories of the Lord, holy name of the Lord. And then the Gita counter is there, where the transcendental literature, which are non different from the Lord, they are all present. So we should be very, very cautious. So we are entering a place where not just the Lord, His devotees, His Sankirtana, his glories in the form of his transcendental literatures. All of these are present. So how can I just walk in like that? I have to first bow down. I have to show respect, bow down, and then only go. So this is the way we have to cultivate our consciousness. Prabhupada has given all these very minute, finer details. We have so how to save ourselves from offensive behavior? The only way is to observe etiquettes, to never give up etiquettes, to always observe standard etiquettes described in the scriptures that are given to us by Srila Prabhupada. Like whenever we see a devotee, the scriptures say, whenever you see the devotee of the Lord, if you don't smile, it is an offense. Many times we take devotees for granted. We don't even wish the devotees, we just walk off. But every time you see a devotee, you should smile and fold your hands and say Hare Krishna Prabhu or Hare Krishna Mataji. Now, this is a standard behavior. Why? Because as soon as we see a devotee, we should immediately remind ourselves, oh, here is a devotee who is engaged in the service of the Lord. He is a representative of the Lord. Let me bow down to him. Let me show my respect. Because without showing proper respect to the devotees, it is not possible to become dear to the Lord. So, this should be our consciousness while we are following these etiquettes. So, etiquettes help us to appreciate, to get into the right mood while dealing with the Lord and the devotees. Etiquettes also help us to save ourselves from offensive mentality, offensive behavior, right? So, like whenever we read Srila Prabhupada books, we should not simply start reading just like we read. So, people read mundane newspapers, magazines, simply take it out and start reading. No, that's not the way. Now I'm going to touch Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, which is not different from the Lord. It is a literary incarnation of the Lord. And these are the words of my spiritual master. And these in this transcendental literature, there are so many Vedic references. Prabhupada is quoting from Upanishads, from Vedas, some Puranas, and Prabhupada is also quoting from the commentaries of previous acharyas. Now, these are all not ordinary, and I'm just getting just like that. I'm getting access to all the storehouse of knowledge just like that when I open and read the books of Srila Prabhupada. So, therefore, first I should bow down, I should offer respects, I should offer prayers to the spiritual master, prayers to the devotees, the Vaishnavas. That is why in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Prabhupada begins the introduction by offering prayers. Mangala Charan, it is called. Mangala Charan means Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam, that prayer. So offering prayers to the spiritual master and to all the Vaishnavas in the Parampara system, offering prayers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, offering prayers to the associates of Krishna, Lalita and Vishakha, Radharani. All of these devotees have to be offered prayers. We have to beg their mercy. Now I'm going to read Bhagavad Gita. Now I'm going to read Bhagavatam. Please bestow your mercy upon me so that I can understand something uh, from this transcendental literature and I can progress in bhakti. So we should offer prayers. In the beginning of our reading and at the end of our reading also, we should offer prayers. We should bow down. We should say Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So these are etiquettes. We cannot just pick a book from our temple, from our book shelf and start just randomly reading like that. Okay, a beginner may do it like that because he may not know, but devotees should know how to actually show proper respects to the scriptures. So, like this, there are so many etiquettes which we should learn in the association of devotees. Etiquettes can be learned only when we associate with devotees. We cannot learn etiquettes by our own. This is a practical thing. So we have to learn from the devotees. So, as I mentioned, you may come to the temple hall 100 times on a particular day. Each time you have to bow down, and each time you cannot simply bow down like that. At least you must say suitable prayers whenever you are bowing down. Your namaskara is incomplete without suitable prayers. At least you must say Hare Krishna when you're offering, when you're bowing down. That's a minimum prayer. At least you say Hare Krishna or Shri Shri Radha Krishna Chandra ki Jai. You say and then enter the temple. So these are all etiquettes we should follow. And then another etiquette is also that whenever you come to the temple, you should not come empty-handed. You're seeing the Lord. Whenever you come to see the Lord, whenever you come to see the spiritual master, whenever you come to see the devotees, we should never go empty-handed. At least minimum is one tulasi leaf we should take and offer to Krishna. This is a basic etiquette. So very, very important. We cannot simply, I'll just walk into, we see this from the pastime of Sudama Brahmana in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Even though Sudama was a friend of Krishna, he didn't take the liberty that anyway we are childhood friends, I'll just walk in into the palace of Dwaraka. He didn't think like that. He didn't have anything at home to take, so his wife begged a palmful of chipped rice from the neighboring lady and she brought. And he carefully, packed it at the edge of his Angavastra, and he went and offered it to Krishna, and Krishna relished it. Krishna was so happy. Even though Krishna is eating chapan bhog every day in Dwaraka, but when Sudama brought this simple offering of chipped rice, Krishna was so happy, satisfied with that. So therefore, whenever we come to the temple, we should make it a point that something I should carry. This is an etiquette, standard Vaishnava etiquette. So, like this, there are so many etiquettes. Prabhupada has listed all of these etiquettes in the Nectar of Devotion book. We should read that and follow all those things. So, here, another thing that we also understand, Prabhupada says, just like we are having darshan of the Lord, we start from the lotus feet and then progressively move towards the face of the Lord. In the same way, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the various cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, are also like the different bodily parts of the Supreme Lord's transcendental body. The first and the second cantos are compared to the 2 feet of the Lord, and the third, fourth canto are like the thighs of the Lord. Like this, different parts of the bodies of the Lord are compared to different cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which specifically talks about the sweet pastimes of Krishna, they are compared to the lotus face, the smiling face of the Lord. So just like you cannot directly jump to the face of the Lord while having darshan, in the same way we should not directly jump to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should begin systematically by beginning with the first canto, then second canto, and then slowly, progressively. The first 9 cantos, the greatness of the Lord is described, and in the 10th canto, the sweetness of the Lord is described. So, without properly understanding the greatness of Krishna, we cannot appreciate the sweetness, the leelas, the sweet leelas of Krishna. Right? That is why in the Damodar Ashtaka also, even though this pastime is about Krishna giving up his greatness to exhibit his sweetness in reciprocation to Mother Yashoda's pure love and affection, even though Krishna's sweetness is the highlight of the Damodara Leela, but the Damodar Ashtaka begins with Namami Ishwaram. That we should never forget. I bow down. Namami means I bow down respectfully in front of Ishwaram, the supreme controller. Krishna, who is the supreme controller, has now become bound by the ropes of love and devotion of Mother Yashoda. That is still his greatness, right? Krishna's greatness is that he gave up his greatness to exhibit his sweetness. That is what the Damodar Leela is all about. So we should, whenever we should not think that uh, in Damodar Leela, Krishna's sweetness is great. Krishna's sweetness is exhibited. Therefore, I will also start behaving, I will also start imitating Yashoda Mai. You know, there are many people who carry Laddu Gopal every day. Wherever they go, they carry, they think that Laddu Gopal is their son. They say, I am like Yashoda Mai, and this Laddu Gopal is my son. He's part of my family, like that. But these kind of imitations of Yashoda Mai that is not at all recommended by the Goswamis, by the standard scriptures, by the Acharyas. This kind of a behavior is considered to be Sahajiya mentality. Sahajiya means even though they are not very exalted, they imitate the activities of exalted devotees of the Lord and they think they are very advanced. This kind of Sahajiya mentality was thoroughly condemned by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, later by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and even by Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada was personally present, on this planet, there were a group of devotees headed by one of the senior, so-called senior devotees at that time, senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada. They all concocted. They said that that senior devotee said, "Now I am a guru, and I will give you diksha." Even when Prabhupada was personally present, he actually declared himself to be a guru, and he started initiating his other new devotees and people would come to the temple, and he would say, "I'm going to give you a very exalted diksha. What is that? I'm going to reveal to you what is your exact position in the spiritual world." So he said, "You are a gopi in Vrindavan. You are a peacock in Goloka Vrindavan. You are a parrot, like this." And regularly, they made a club called Gopi Bhava Club, like this. Gopi Bhava Club. And this senior devotee, so-called senior devotee, would conduct a club meeting and he would call all this his initiated disciples and ask them to come and come dressed in that particular mood. So somebody would be dressed like peacocks, some people would be dressed like parrots, like this. And he used to, they used to dance like this. And when Prabhupada got to know this, Prabhupada was very, very heavy on this. He immediately said, the so-called Gopi Bhava Club is nonsense. It has to be immediately, it has to be stopped. You know, he was very, very heavy about this. So this is called Sahajiya mentality, being an upstart. Or somebody went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, whenever I chant Hare Krishna mantra, tears come from my eyes. So the devotee was thinking that Prabhupada will appreciate, oh, you have become very advanced. Because he must have heard from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leelas and other exalted acharyas, devotees, they would actually shed tears. Mahaprabhu would shed tears on when Sankirtana would happen. So this devotee was thinking, if I tell this to Prabhupada, Prabhupada will be very happy and he will praise me that you have become an advanced devotee. But Prabhupada, instead of praising that devotee, Prabhupada just said, no problem, continue to chant and your tears will stop. That was the reply that Prabhupada gave. So we should not imitate. So even that pastime of Andal, which I said in the session, we should not think that okay, I will also put a garland and offer to the Lord. No. So it is described that Andal is an expansion of Lakshmi Devi. So she was doing in that mood. So we should not imitate the pastimes of pure devotees like that. We should only follow in the footsteps of these devotees. What is the lesson we should learn? Yes, we should also make a garland with love and devotion, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Bhakti Preeti Mala Chandan. I will offer to you, O Lord, this uh, bhakti, I'm going to offer to you sandalwood paste and flower garlands. Please accept them and bless me. So that is the way. So from this prayer, there are so many things, isn't it? We can understand from these four lines. Lines. Namah Pankajanabhaya, Namah Pankajamaline, Namah Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. So we will read the more prayers, more verses from the prayers of Kunti Maharani in the coming sessions, and we shall try to see what are the life lessons, what are the things that we can learn as practicing devotees. Thank you very much for joining, and please do offer ghee lamp to Lord Krishna during this most auspicious Kartik month. And immediately, anyone who offers a ghee lamp to the Lord, the scriptures say, such a devotee immediately attracts the mercy of Krishna during this Kartik month. So let us not miss the opportunity. Please do offer every day in your place and receive the blessings of the Lord. Thank you very much. We shall meet again in the next session. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, विश्व
जय
गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
जय
हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण